Am I the only one that didn't know politicians could get roasted so hard online? Seriously, it's like every time you blink, there's a new controversy, a new viral moment, and a fresh wave of outrage. Politicians might have thick skin, but the internet, it's relentless. No matter how carefully they craft their statements, the online world is always ready to pounce, dissect, and, if necessary, drag them through the mud. The comment sections are brutal, and the memes? Even worse. It's almost like a sport at this point. Who can call out a politician the fastest, or who can find the most embarrassing old tweet? If you've ever wondered what it's like to be under a microscope 24/7, just look at what happens when a politician trends online. If you struggle to keep up with political scandals, you're definitely not alone. It feels like every week there's a new headline, a new gate, and a new round of finger-pointing. The news cycle moves so fast that it's easy to miss the details. But this latest controversy? It's one for the books. You need to watch this, because what just happened in Utah is a perfect example of how quickly things can spiral, and how the internet never forgets. Let's break down this wild controversy. So here's what happened. It all started with a shocking event that sent shockwaves across the country and instantly became the top story everywhere. Last night, conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed in a tragic incident that unfolded while he was speaking at Utah Valley University. The campus, usually buzzing with student life, was suddenly transformed into the center of a national tragedy, with police swarming the scene and news vans lining the streets. Kirk had been invited to speak at a packed event, and the audience was filled with students, faculty, and local residents. No one could have predicted the violence that would erupt that night, turning what should have been a routine campus event into a moment that would dominate headlines for days. The whole country reacted instantly, with social media lighting up as people tried to process the news. Videos from the scene spread rapidly, and within minutes, hashtags related to the shooting were trending nationwide. Emotions ran high: shock, anger, grief, and confusion all mixed together as people tried to make sense of what had happened. But Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee's response grabbed the spotlight. As soon as the news broke, all eyes turned to the state's most prominent conservative voice, waiting to see what he would say. And when he finally posted, it set off a whole new firestorm. Lee took to social media with a tribute, calling Kirk an American patriot and expressing his outrage over the killing. He didn't hold back, describing the act as cowardly and senseless, and demanding justice for Kirk's family and supporters. He posted a tribute calling Kirk an American patriot, emphasizing Kirk's dedication to his beliefs and his impact on conservative politics. Lee's words resonated with many, especially those mourning Kirk's loss. Vigils were held, flags were lowered, and tributes poured in from across the country. For a moment, it seemed like the nation was united in grief. But here's where it gets messy, because the internet never lets anything slide. Almost immediately, people started digging through Lee's social media history, looking for any sign of inconsistency or hypocrisy. And it didn't take long for them to find something explosive. People quickly dug up Lee's old posts from June, when another political leader, Democratic House Leader Melissa Hortman, was assassinated in a similarly shocking attack. The circumstances were different, but the tragedy was just as real. Back then, when Democratic leader Melissa Hortman was assassinated, the nation was once again in mourning. But Lee's reaction was very different. Instead of offering condolences, he made light of the situation, posting jokes and sarcastic comments that many found deeply insensitive. Back then, Lee made jokes about the incident and even tried to shift the blame onto so-called Marxists, despite the fact that the suspect was actually a right-wing extremist. The contrast between his reactions to the two tragedies was stark, and people noticed. The double standard was impossible to ignore. Social media went wild, with users sharing screenshots of Lee's old posts side by side with his new tribute to Kirk. Hashtags like #hypocrisy and #selective empathy started trending, and the debate quickly turned heated. Critics are calling Lee out for hypocrisy and selective empathy, accusing him of only showing compassion when the victim is on his side of the political aisle. They argue that true leadership means standing up for what's right, no matter who is affected. The backlash has exposed deep divisions. not just in politics, but in how we respond to tragedy. Some say Lee's reaction is proof that our leaders are more interested in scoring political points than in genuine empathy. Others argue that everyone is guilty of bias, and that social media just makes it more obvious. Of course, Lee's supporters see things differently. They believe he's just standing up for his beliefs and defending someone who shared his values. To them, the criticism is just another example of partisan attacks and media spin. The backlash is so intense, it's dominating the news cycle and sparking debates on every major platform. From cable news to TikTok, everyone seems to have an opinion, and no one is holding back. It's trending across Twitter, TikTok, and everywhere else. The story has become a lightning rod for discussions about political double standards, online accountability, and the role of social media in shaping public opinion. Analysts say this just proves how every post online matters, especially for public figures. In today's world, your digital footprint is permanent, and anything you say can and will be used against you, sometimes years later. The controversy also highlights just how divided things have become. Instead of coming together in the face of tragedy, people are using these moments to score points, settle old scores, and deepen the political divide. It's a lot to take in, and it raises some tough questions about where we go from here. Can we expect our leaders to rise above partisanship, or is this just the new normal? Are we holding politicians to a higher standard, or are we just looking for reasons to be outraged? So what do you think? Is this a case of justified outrage, or are we all just caught up in the drama of the moment? Was the senator out of line, or is this just politics as usual? Should we expect more from our elected officials, or is it unrealistic to think they'll ever put country over party? Maybe this is just another example of how politics works in the age of social media, where every word is scrutinized, every action is amplified, and every mistake is immortalized online. Drop your take in the comments. Let's get a real conversation going. Do you think the backlash is fair, or is it just another internet pile-on? How should politicians handle these moments, and what would you do in their shoes? And don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this. We'll keep following the story and bringing you the latest updates, so stay tuned and stay informed.